the special meeting of the Board of Fire Commissioners. The date is Tuesday, June 16th. It's about 9:05 in the morning. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Ibarra.
Here.
Glazier is absent. Commissioner Hara.
We only do team fun too. We like carb dipped in.
I don't know what I'm hearing, but Hara, I don't hear. Ninberg.
No Ninberg?
Okay, hold on. I think as co-host commissioners, thank you. You need to unmute yourself. Yep. But let me see. Ninberg is present. And Woods Gray is? Commissioner Woods Gray?
I went back to mute again.
I know. Okay. And then Fire Chief Terrazas?
Present.
And City Attorney Raffish?
Here.
And let me try one more request for Commissioner Hara. I don't see him here, but maybe he's calling from one of these multiple numbers that has not been acknowledged. So I will let you proceed.
Okay, thank you. Flag salute and moment of silence.
Please stand, right hand over your heart. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, Republic, for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in a moment of silence in honor of past and present members of the Los Angeles Fire Department who have devoted their lives to the protection of our community. Thank you.
So moving on to our report of the fire chief.
Thank you, Madam President. We're still in the midst of the COVID pandemic. I'll comment on a few things that we've been doing of relevance. On May 26, I attended the grand opening of the Dodger Stadium mega testing site with the mayor and Dodger executives. That site now has a capacity of 8,000 people per day. It's doing very well, and most of the staff is provided by our core volunteers with support of LAFD members. On May 29th, we had a department-wide brush preparation drill at the LA Zoo. We had one engine from every one of our 14 battalions competing for the fastest brush hose lay. It was our first annual Fire Chiefs Brush Fire Challenge. We awarded a large trophy, and I purchased ice cream for Fire Station 3 as they were the fastest engine in the city. Simultaneous to that, we participated in the ALS Push-Up Challenge in support of our firefighter, Eric Stevens. And at the end of this month, it'll be the end of our wearing of the red ALS awareness shirt. So we've seen a lot of support for Eric, and he has a long road ahead of him, but we're supporting him every step of the way. On June 3rd, we had a Zoom ceremony for our scholarship awards. It was unknown whether or not we were able to continue that event in light of the COVID pandemic, but our staff here was able to convene the ceremony, and the committee was able to award approximately 6 scholarships to the children of LAFD sworn members. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Before we move on, is there any member of the public that wishes to comment upon item 1A?
I would need to recognize the list of people that we have not, but I have to unmute them all.
Okay.
Are you, what item are you calling to speak on, please? Extension 741 are the last 3 digits. Hello?
741, there's a caller with a number 741. Can you please?
They hung up.
Oh, okay.
Now, let's see.
I'll
Caller?
remind you, Leticia, let me remind you that individuals may be calling in but are not intending to speak on any items. So
Yes, but what if they do want to speak? How do we know that?
sure.
Aren't
Well,
they
then
supposed to do a little?
they would press *9 and
Got
they
it.
would be able to show a hand raised.
Got
So
it.
so anybody who wishes to speak on item 1, please press *9. And if there is a hand, I see one. It's an 1818 number.
Great.
Do you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Caller, can you please identify yourself as you wish? 1818 with the hand on. Can you, Leticia, can you unmute that person?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. This is Daniel Venencia, Chairman of the Los Angeles Fire Life Safety Committee. I'd like to speak on, just to make it easier, I'd like to speak on 20-044 and also 20-049.
So 2A and 2G, right?
It would be 2B and 2G.
2B and 2G. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So thank you. Is there anybody who wishes to speak on 1A? Okay, so we don't have any speakers. So moving on to the consent agenda items, can one of the commissioners please move to A, to C, to D, to E, to F, to H, to I, and to J, and we're going to hold 2B and 2G special because we have unless there's any other public comments on any of those agenda items. Okay, there's a hand up. Do you see that, Leticia, 1323?
Yes.
Dear caller 323, can you please identify yourself and what item you wish to speak on?
Actually, this is Dr. Har. Just mentioning that I've been in on the meeting.
Oh, great.
Awesome. I'm going to rename you so we know real quick, and then I will put you as present, Doctor. One moment, please.
Well, put me on mute because I'm doing the COVID testing side here, and it can get pretty noisy here at times.
Okay, I will mute you. There you are. Okay.
So now, President Ibarra, you just need a motion to move the items that you've identified from the consent.
So if any of the commissioners could please move those items that are...
I so move.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye?
Aye. Aye.
Great, so those consent agenda items are moved. So we have 2 special items from the consent agenda. One is 2B, which is report by the department on the status of the LAFD projects, receive and file. So if I could have somebody from the department, and then we could have the public comment. So probably Chief Everett.
Morning, Madam President. The 2B is a recurring report on pending commission report backs that we have in the queue. So I really don't know what the nature of the question may be. Typically, it just shows us what reports have been requested by the commissioners and a TBD pending date of when we would present it to commission. Obviously, unless it's on the agenda, we wouldn't be reporting back on that item until such time that it makes the agenda. So those are kind of our projects that are kind of in the queue that we've been requested to report back on by commission. And that's without specifics, that's all I can tell you.
Okay, great. Let's hear the public comment from Mr. Vincenti.
Oh, gosh. I don't think he was renamed. I don't see him.
Can you, Mr. Vincenti, can you just raise your hand again so that we can recognize you?
And he needs to be unmuted. He needs to be unmuted.
There he is. I see him. Got it. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, Commission.
Good morning.
I would just like to get an update on when the Chief Regulation 4 program will be reviewed. The initial request was made on 8/20/2019, and it's been close to a year now. As you guys are all aware, Chief Regulation 4 is the program that overlooks over 100,000 buildings. There's currently just one inspector in charge of the program overseeing it. We've all known and we've all recognized that there's been a problem. We know that there hasn't been the proper resources that are being allocated to the program. And I just want to say I don't want to wait for something bad to happen in order for us to start looking at this. It's very important to our organization, the Building Owners and Managers Organization. And yeah, I just don't want to, I'd like to see if we could get some sort of date on when this will be reviewed. I'm asking you guys, our leaders, to at least one of us take action and look into this. For us, it's a serious issue. That's all I got.
Thank you for your comment that it is on our to-do list, but you're correct that there isn't a date yet. So we will follow up with that, and the department will probably follow up directly with you on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then now 2G is a report by the department on the Second Amendment to the agreement with Brycer for proprietary software services supporting the Reg 4 compliance. Chief Everett is.
Yes, ma'am. So for that item, we have Captain Richardson and/or Chief Fields that should be on the line.
Chief Fields or Richardson?
I'm looking for
Yes, ma'am. This is Captain Richardson speaking. How are you?
Good morning. Nice to have you.
So this is just a renewal of the contract to execute our next 3 years that we have the option to do with their proprietary agreement. And again, it's no major changes to the contract. The only thing we're doing is just extending our option to continue with Brycer to carry the Reg 4s that Mr. Vincenti even mentioned in the previous agenda item of 2B. And we are continuing to work on that Reg 4 changes as well to kind of come back to that item as well. And so we're going to be revisiting that. We're obviously been delayed with a few things going on in the city, and it's at the top priority for our unit anyway. And so this is just going to continue that contract so that we can also revise the Reg 4 program as I presented several months ago. In fact, I'm meeting with Mrs. Radfish next week or the following week to continue that conversation as well in the report.
Thank you so much. So now let's go to public comment from Mr. Vincenti again. And his hand is up, so we could just need to unmute him.
Okay, I believe you are already on mute.
Oh, okay, great. You guys can hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Awesome. Good morning, good morning. Okay, so I just wanted to, I do want to talk about the compliance engine. I think it's been a great program that LAFD has implemented. I also want to make something clear is that the compliance engine is a software. It keeps track of data. You know, it's not going to solve the issues that we're having with the program. It is what it's doing. It is putting pressure on the owners to get these testings done, but it doesn't assure you quality control. You know, who's doing the testing? Are they properly trained? Are these inspections being done properly? Another thing I'd like to bring up is I did review the contract from LAFD and Brycer, and I didn't really see anything as far as pricing. You know, some of our contracts involve multiple buildings, big property management companies, and we'd like to know when the fees are going to be adjusted, you know, so we could adjust accordingly and we could talk to our clients. It started off at $10 per report. It's up to $12 per report, but, you know, we'd like to know if there's an increase to $15 or $20 and when and how that's going to look like. There's different cities that are using the compliance engine and they're charging up to $40. So, I mean, how can we know ahead of time so we're able to coordinate that properly with our property managers? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, as you know, the department's dealing with a lot of issues right now. This is always a priority, and as Captain Richardson said, he will follow up on this and follow up with you on this. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
No problem. Thank you.
So moving on to, oh, I need a motion for both of those, correct?
Correct, 2B and 2G.
I move that the board approve B and G on the consent calendar.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
So moving on to
Madam President, I just wanted the record to reflect that I know that Commissioner Hara is present, but I don't hear him voting. So, you know, we just need to clarify whether he's actually attending the meeting or whether he's just listening and not officially attending.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Let's locate him again. Here he is.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I did vote in favor.
Okay.
I guess I was unmuted, but I asked to be muted otherwise because I'm running the county COVID test site here, and it can get kind of noisy at times.
Right. So
but
we're going to...
I did vote in favor.
Okay, so we will unmute you for the vote, which I think that's the last vote we have after until adjournment.
That's
so
correct.
We'll unmute
Okay.
you then. Thank you. Okay, so 3A is verbal update on the department's response to coronavirus. And so who's doing that report?
I have Dr. Eckstein, ma'am.
Okay, great. Dr. Eckstein. Good morning. Is Dr. Eckstein unmuted?
Is he a phone number? Because I don't see his name, but I'll scroll up and down. My list is long here. I see no hands raised. There are 2 phone calls, 1376 and one ending in 105. If you'd like to be recognized on agenda item 3A, please press *9.
There is a hand.
Okay, let me move back up. Oh, there it is.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Eckstein.
Good morning. I was unable to be unmuted. Good morning, Commissioners, Fire Chief, City Attorney. Just an update. As the department is dealing with multiple issues right now, we're trying to ensure that our members remain vigilant. We know we're not out of the woods as far as the COVID-19 pandemic is concerned. So we're continuing to message our members in the field to remain vigilant with the policies that we've instituted. We have seen a recent uptick in number of members who have tested positive. We're immediately isolating those members, sending them home, and we're executing our approved extensive decon procedures for those affected fire stations. As you know, also the department continues to support the citywide testing, particularly the mega site at Dodger Stadium. Citywide testing now, we're averaging approximately 10,000 members of the public that we're testing each day. In terms of the numbers of coronavirus patients in and around the county, there's reported to be a small uptick recently, but the regional hospitals still have more than adequate ICU capacity and more than adequate number of ventilators. There's been some recent literature suggesting some improved treatment modalities, so healthcare professionals have a much better idea how to manage these patients. And right now, we're just, again, trying to remain vigilant with use of PPEs, social distancing at the fire stations, our decon procedures, and also trying to identify known or suspected COVID patients through dispatch. So we are keeping our eye on COVID in the interest of protecting our member safety and public safety. And despite all the current issues the department is facing, we've been very successful in continuing to manage this crisis.
Good, thank you. Is there, commissioners, do you have any questions? Okay, no. Do we have any public comments from the public? If we do, *9, please. I don't see any public comments. Thank you, doctor, for the update.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think we need a vote on that. So 3B is verbal report from the department on the response to incidents arising during the protests for racial justice.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Madam President, Commissioners, Chief Terrazas, Al Poyer, Chief Deputy Emergency Operations. In response to the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis on May the 25th, there were multiple protests in and around downtown Los Angeles on Wednesday, May the 27th. We recognize the significance of this activity, and by Thursday, May the 28th, we had generated a department-wide portal notice acknowledging the tragic event, asking our members to pause and reflect. We have a pre-planned operational posture that creates area command, allowing each geographical bureau as needed to function somewhat autonomously as an operational area, with each battalion being a separate zone should activity increase. We anticipated that activity would increase, and by Friday, May the 29th, we were co-located with our law enforcement counterparts for improved situational awareness and to ensure we had appropriate firefighter protection in place. Friday night brought some property damage and fires to downtown LA, primarily in Battalion 1. And Saturday night, May the 30th, we had some more damage and significant fires, primarily centered in the Fairfax district. Following days, the protests and the marches spread across the city, touching all geographic bureaus and virtually all of our 14 battalions. In total, during the period of unrest, May the 29th through June the 2nd, we responded to and addressed 39 structure fires, 14 vehicle fires, 77 rubbish fires. We had some damage to some of our fire apparatus and vehicles, but fortunately no firefighter injuries. I'd like to turn the mic over to Deputy Chief Armando Hogan from our Operations West Bureau, and he can share with you some of the specifics related to emergency operations within his bureau and across the city.
Thank you. Chief Hogan.
Good morning, all. Madam President, Honorable Commissioners,
Good morning.
Chief Terrazas, Attorney Ratfish, and to the management and staff of the LAFD. My name is Armando Hogan, Deputy Chief in charge of Operations West Bureau. My purpose here today is to share with you the significant events that recently transpired here in the city of Los Angeles. Our department has been severely challenged with COVID-19, the Boyd Street fire, the civil unrest, and now brush fires. Our members have risen to that challenge by maintaining personal safety protocols, situational awareness, communicating with our agency partners, and applying discipline training principles that have led to positive outcomes. I'd like to take a brief moment to bring to your attention how our LAFD has continued to provide exemplary service during these difficult times. All 4 geographic bureaus were impacted as follows. Central Bureau was impacted greatly by the Boyd Street fire when a commercial occupancy that housed butane ignited and 11 members were injured with severe burns. These members all survived and remain in various stages of recovery. The protest marches required Central Bureau to prepare staffing and resources for well over 15 deployments that lasted from 10 to 12 hours per event. That, coupled with several brush and grass incidents in and around El Sereno, kept Central Bureau extremely busy. South Bureau has also seen several protests near the Coliseum, Lamert Park, and the Park La Brea area. In Park La Brea, our Battalion 18 resources saw quite a bit of activity in the initial phases of the demonstrations, including several fires and calls for service in that notification area. South Bureau resources were pushed well past the point of fatigue as they also encountered brush and grass fires in their bureau while constantly delivering emergency medical services in a high-volume response area. Valley Bureau was battling fires in the Sepulveda Basin, where encampment-like areas create a hazardous and unsafe work environment for our members. Valley Bureau also staffed resources and personnel for protest marches in that portion of the city while responding to several structure fires during this time frame. West Bureau was deeply involved with COVID-19 concerns, encampments, structure fires, brush incidents, and some of the largest protests in the city, with participation that was close to 50,000 protesters in attendance. The brush fires mentioned took place in Hollywood and West LA, and due to little to no winds, these fires were held to less than 50 acres burned. In summation, from a collective perspective, All 4 bureaus stood up deployments with different resource configurations that allowed for flexibility during protests and assisted our incident commanders with maintaining a more manageable span of control. These operational periods range from 8 hours to sometimes 14 hours per deployment. Overall, citywide, the LAFD implemented 30 such deployments. While these events and activities were being monitored and addressed, we still maintained social distancing, proper response protocols, as well as adhering to all safety considerations. The men and women of this organization remain focused on the mission of preserving life and property through a firm commitment to serve our communities, to be professional while doing so, displaying integrity by being sincere during public contacts, respecting those encountered, being innovative during deployments, and trusting our training to provide exemplary service. The 4-bureau model allowed for us to manage our own geography while staying in continued contact with the chief deputies and chief of staff, which facilitated information sharing and operational support. This model also allowed us to assist partner cities when their challenges exceeded their ability to provide service. During the demonstrations, there were no injuries and only minor damage to some of our apparatus. Additionally, there was constant contact with the Office of the Mayor, our council members, as well as state and federal officials to keep them current on all activities and demonstrations. We would also like to take the opportunity to thank our partner agencies, local, state, and federal, from law enforcement, Department of Transportation, the UHRC, Emergency Management Department, Recreation and Parks, and the LA Zoo, who assisted with firefighter protection, traffic assistance, feeding our members, and aiding in situational awareness. These challenging times demand that we treat one another with dignity and respect, and the communities we serve should benefit the most. The fire chief reminds us all that we are not out of the woods yet. However, our posture is of a ready state of preparedness. We will continue to keep our members and the community safe and continue to stress everybody goes home. That concludes my report. I'll take any questions that you may have.
Any questions from the commissioners? No. Any questions?
Thank you, Chief Hogan, for the report. Very thorough. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe.
And Commissioner Woods Gray, I also want to wish you a happy belated birthday as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Happy birthday, Commissioner.
Yes, happy birthday. And thank you, Chief Hogan.
You're very welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. So now, do we have any comments from the public? Please press *9. Okay, no comments from the public on this matter. Let's move on then to, thank you so much, Chief Hogan, and to the department during these difficult times for doing a great job as always.
Thank you, Madam President. We appreciate that.
Public comment. We have, I know that we have, we were told we were going to have 4 public comments. So why don't we *9, please, if you wish to be recognized. I see 2 hands. I see Kevin Johnson and Robert Hawkins. Is there a Gerald Durant I thought was also going to be speaking? No. Leticia, can you hear me? Oh, there is a 310 number. Leticia, can you confirm who that is? I don't hear Leticia, so I'm just going to see who 310 is, and if
the 376 ending is at Durant. Gerald?
You need to unmute him?
Yeah, he's on mute.
Hello? 310, 376.
Yes, that's Jack Baham.
Jack Baham.
Okay. You will be speaking probably, I'm guessing, number 3, Jack, is that correct?
Number 2 after Mr. Durant.
Got it.
Okay.
So we're not seeing a hand from Durant. If you are number ending in 105, 805
Okay.
prefix.
There's 4 now.
Okay, very well.
The 805 number.
Okay, unmute. Hello, is this Gerald Durant?
805 is Freddy Escobar.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So if anybody wishes to speak in public comment, you need to log on before we start the public comment. So it's last chance.
Yeah, Durant is the one that we're missing, unless someone's speaking in his place for Centurions. Let me scroll down again, Commissioner.
Yeah, I'm only seeing 4 hands.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe he couldn't figure out how to log on. All right, so I guess we're going to get started. So we'll start with Mr. Johnson. Is that okay?
Jack. The 805.
Mr. Hawkins.
Mm-hmm. Johnson was going to be before and Hawkins was going to be last. So Jack, since Durant is not there, would you like to begin?
Jack Bahan. Is he unmuted?
Yeah, and I'm double checking all the
No,
others.
But he can speak right now. Here he goes.
Okay.
Hello, Commissioner, Chief Terraza.
Good morning.
Gerald Durant, President of the Los Angeles City Centurion. My comment today, the Los Angeles City Centurions organization was established to create equal opportunities for all members of the Los Angeles City Fire Department. We firmly stand upon the shoulders of those who fought many battles so we can become firefighters. Whatever victories, the results in part set the table of diversity that we see today. But by all means, we're not there yet. We believe in teamwork as our greatest concept that allows excellent producing quality professional service for all of Los Angeles that they deserve. Our deepest vision of the future is education, training, conducted without regards to race or gender, tall or short, producing professional firefighters. Our principles start with a look in the mirror, aiding us to see our triumphs, our faults, and misgivings. The lessons learned producing the most diverse, progressive department in the world. Centurions ultimately and fundamentally take the position that we will not do what was done to us. We accept everyone for who they are. We expect training that allows all members to achieve the highest level of complacency for safe firefighting. The philosophy that we feel in the firehouse starts again in the training academy. So I say, start right, end right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So that was Gerald Durant, and Gerald Durant actually logged on somebody else's number. Is that what happened?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you. So then we'll just go with the sequence now. It's Mr. Bahan is next, right? And that's the 310 number?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so if you can
everyone hear
recognize him. Yes,
yes,
thank you.
Okay, good morning, Fire Commissioners, Fire Chief Terrazas, and staff, and all others in attendance. My name is Jack Bam. I'm a board member with the City of Los Angeles Centurions organization and a captain with the Los Angeles City Fire Department. On behalf of the men and women of the Los Angeles City Centurions organization, we would like to extend our deepest sympathy and condolences to the family of Mr. George Floyd. We will continue to keep the Floyd family in all our thoughts, hearts, and our prayers during their time of bereavement. As Black men and women, firefighters and paramedics in the United States, we stand in solidarity with Black Lives Matter and all other advocacy organizations against the ruthless murder of Mr. George Floyd by 4 members of the Minneapolis Police Department. We are in full support of protesters exercising their First Amendment constitutional rights by casting light on a lawless shadow regarding use of force against Black people at the hands of many law enforcement agencies throughout this country. However, we do not, and I will repeat, we do not support the action of individuals who are burning buildings and or disrupting the emergency response of firefighters and / paramedics to 911 incidents. Our sincere goal is to ensure a professional level of service to the residents of the city of Los Angeles. This will be accomplished with continued collaboration with government community-based organizations, Fire Chief Terrazas and the Los Angeles City Fire Department, President Freddy Escobar and Local 112, and the Board of Fire Commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then we continue with, is it Kevin Johnson or Robert Hawkins? Who's next?
Yes, Kevin Johnson, yes.
Kevin Johnson.
Good morning, Madam President.
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, Madam President, Commissioners, Fire Chief Terrazas. My name is Kevin Johnson. I'm the Vice President of the Centurions. I have over 29 years of service, and I hold the rank of Captain 1 Paramedic. The Centurions is established as a recognized employee group that was birthed because of racial injustice, segregation, and mistreatment of members. We recruit, mentor, focusing on retention, develop youth, and educate our community. As mentioned before, I too appreciate the message from Chief Terrazas titled, I Can't Breathe. Mr. Floyd's death was a tragedy. His death opened old wounds and reminded us that being an African American can allow someone to take our life without regard or even a nonviolent offense. We do not support the violence during the protest. We do not support the violence during this protest of racial justice. It exposed more of the same statements, verbal exchange, and innuendos in the stations, and now adding social media posts. Then it caused a racial divide, and now it's threatening, and some stations causing the same. The pendulum on this continues to swing, proving we still have a long way to go. My question, Madam President, Commissioners, attorneys, and LAFD is, what does zero tolerance mean to you in the city? The Los Angeles City Fire Department and City of Los Angeles need to start being proactive instead of reactive. The pendulum continues to swing back until we collectively stop it. We, the Centurions, cannot do it alone. It's time to act. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Thanks for that comment. We have now Robert Hawkins.
Yes.
Mr. Hawkins, great. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, Fire Commissioners, Fire Chief Terrazas, and everyone else in attendance. My name is Robert Hawkins. I'm the Secretary representing the Centurions, and I'm also a fire captain assigned to the firefighter recruitment section. I would first like to start by saying thank you to Fire Chief Terrazas and the command staff for the Fire Chief's message titled, I Can't Breathe. In the message, Chief, you stated, we must work together as a society to eliminate racial injustice wherever it exists. The Centurion organization believes courageous leadership is confronting difficult topics head on. Of course, we believe all lives matter, but people of color, Black lives, are the ones whom we're focusing on right now due to centuries of discrimination and ongoing systematic racism. The solution to combating racism is first admitting that it exists. Does systematic racism exist in the LAFD? Yes, it does. It exists in our selection process, it exists in our drill tower, and it exists in our fire stations. As a probationary firefighter, I myself was told the reason I was hired was because I was Black, and it's a shame that the department hires on racial preference. Fast forward to the year 2020, we are encountering captains telling probationary members the same thing. Although we have had positive messages from the fire chief regarding racial issues and the use of the word fireman, Black firefighters are still encountering racism, and female firefighters are still being ignored by the term fireman. Today, it is imperative we find a final solution through frequent meetings with the fire chief to ensure we have accountability, zero tolerance, recruitment, retention, and promotion. Moving forward, the Centurion organization will be actively involved in helping our department be the best it can be for every firefighter in the LAFD and most importantly, to the citizens of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that comment. Now, our last public commenter is Freddy Escobar from UFLAC.
Oh, my timer.
Okay.
Let me.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Good morning. Yes, we can hear
you. Hey, good morning, Madam President, Fire Chief Terrazas, and Honorable Commissioners. Freddy Escobar, President of UFLAC, representing over 3,400 firefighters and paramedics. And my comment is going to be short and to the point, that I support the comments that were just made by our brothers and sisters from the Centurions. We have worked inclusively and in collaboration with the fire chief as we move forward. Our position is zero tolerance, and it's exactly what it means, zero tolerance. Are we going to continue to have isolated incidents? And the answer is going to be very candidly, yes. We want to prevent all incidents, but we can't prevent everything from occurring. Just like in a big private organization, you're going to have those isolated incidents, and UFLAC will not support them, and I know I can speak on behalf of the fire chief as well. As we move forward during these times, we want to work inclusively, not only with UFLAC, but all of our representatives out there, Los Bomberos, Women in the Fire Service, Centurions, and UFLAC collectively, and I think we've proven that. Quarterly, we meet with the fire chief and his command staff to make the LAFD what it is. Zero tolerance. Do not change the standard as we move forward. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you to all the public commenters for their remarks, for preparing them, and for just keeping the focus on, the systemic issues that we're all still working with. And thanks to everybody for joining us remotely, as we go through the pandemic and, this moment of social justice as well. Thank you. With that, we can adjourn.
Madam President, just a
Yes.
question. Did the commissioners receive the chief's memo on I Can't Breathe?
I did. I hope you
I'll
did
go
as
back.
well.
I just wanted to know, I need to search my email maybe. Okay,
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you did as well, but I think it went to all commissioners. Can we do the adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Until next time. Bye, everybody.
Hey.